You've got to come back with me. Where? Back to the future.
When Zemeckis and Gale created the original Back to the Future, they did not think of making a sequel. The movie was left open-ended to make it more fun, but because the original made so much money, there was a lot of pressure to create a sequel. But is the movie any good? Let's find out. I'm Meffistoe. Like, share, and subscribe because this is my review of the movie Back to the Future Part 2.
Shark still looks fake.
Because the two Bobs didn't quite plan on making a sequel, they had to overcome a little problem. Jennifer wasn't supposed to be in the car at the end of the movie. When they started to work on the draft, they had to shift a few of their plans for the upcoming sequels. And I do use the plural here because when the movie started its production, the studio commissioned 2 movies. So both Part 2 and Part 3 were shot back to back.
She was asking too many questions and no one should know too much about their future.
Production went underway and it took about 2 years before the movie started shooting because of the multiple sets that had to be built, and a further delay because of the script development, and for the fact that Zemeckis was involved in another huge project, Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Nobody calls me chicken needles. Nobody!
Most of the original cast came back, of course, except for 2. Claudia Wells could not reprise her role as Jennifer because she had to attend to her sick mother, and Crispin Glover, who played George, had issues with the payout, issues with the script, and more. So he was replaced, and eventually he had to sue because Zemeckis used old footage of Glover from the first movie and spliced in Jeffrey Weitzman playing the role of George. That case, of course, was settled out of court, but had a massive impact on the Screen Actors Guild's personality right.
What's wrong, McFly? Chicken?
As for the story, we pick it up exactly at the same time and place we left the first movie. Doc Brown comes back from the future to warn Marty about his kids. They climb into the DeLorean and head to the year 2015. There, Marty helps his future son to avoid committing a crime, but in the process, he has to meet up with a few familiar faces.
Hello? Hello, anybody home? Huh? Think, McFly, think!
That chance meeting causes a chain of events that forces Marty and Doc to jump just several points in time and try to correct a mistake.
Cause a chain reaction that would unravel the very fabric of the space-time continuum and destroy the entire universe. Granted, that's a worst-case scenario.
Because of the casting challenges, the first scene of the movie, which was the last scene of the first movie, had to be completely reshot to include Elizabeth Shue, who replaced Wells as Jennifer. But if you do put them side by side, they are very, very close. But Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd have not missed a step. Fox slips comfortably into the role of Marty, and the same goes for Lloyd as Doc Brown. It's a pretty good feat when you realize that these movies were shot 4 years apart.
Veins of blood added a good 30 to 40 years to my life. They also replaced my spleen and colon. What do you think?
But Back to the Future 2 possesses another acting challenge, something that was mostly on the shoulders of Fox, Leah Thompson, and Tom Wilson. All had to portray a version of their own character, but at a different age, or in the case of Fox and Wilson, their offsprings, with Fox playing not only his son, but also his daughter.
Mom, is that you?
Back to the Future 2 has also a weird legacy. Parts of it are set in the future. The date was selected to represent a symmetry where 1985 is the present day. And in the first movie, we go back 30 years. This time, we move exactly 30 years forward. But the legacy also extends to the things the movie predicted that came to be in 2015, or to be exact, were present at the time. It predicted drones for news gathering, CCTV cameras everywhere, flat screen TVs, hands-free video games, video chats, animated 3D billboards, head-mounted displays, and tablet computers. Although you can say that Star Trek The Next Generation had them, but that's about the 25th century.
Stop! Look! I need to borrow your hoverboard.
When asked, Zemeckis said that he really didn't set out to predict anything futuristic. He even said that he didn't expect to have flying cars by that year, and that's why he had that written in.
Flying DeLorean?
but there's another little detail that the movie kind of predicted, but not exactly. Without spoiling too much, Marty sees that the Chicago Cubs baseball team won the World Series. The team notoriously had a string of bad luck, not winning the championship for over 100 years. The team didn't win in 2015, but it did in 2016, which is oddly close. And in 1989, there were no Florida-based teams like in the movie, but there were 2 of them in 2015.
Cubs win World Series. Against Miami?
And then there's the hoverboard, which the movie kind of predicted, but not really. Case in point, Vader. The great thing about the movie is that it doesn't linger at any particular point in time for the entire length of the movie. I really want to encourage people to watch this if they haven't, so I'll say that future, past, and present all come to play here. And I don't mean just in the opening scene. This allows the movie to always move forward with its plot, and this time, because there's no ticking clocks to force us to get to a lightning bolt at a specific time, there's only a MacGuffin to chase that causes the roller coaster ride for the entire span of the movie. I, for one, had a unique experience in watching this movie for the very first time. My classmate's grandfather worked at the local theater, so 10 of us were let in to a private screening for free. In fact, I even got to see part 3 in the same manner. And to me, part 2 isn't as great as the first. Because it does go into the past, we can experience parts of the first movie, but looking at it from a different viewpoint, which is something that you wouldn't get in a regular movie, but for a time-traveling movie, it's completely possible. What I mean to say is that I love the second part, but not as much as I love the original. It sometimes repeats itself with jokes or gags or quotes to underline the symmetry of the McFly history. It is much more of a roller coaster ride than a sci-fi drama. It does have comedic elements, but it cannot live without the original. But I will still highly recommend you watch this sequel. It's not just another chapter in the story. It is a fun ride. But fair warning, do not expect it to be super accurate scientifically. It is a time-traveling movie, and every time-traveling movie has its flaws. So just enjoy it for what it is.
Better that I devote myself to studying the other great mystery of the universe. Women.
I thank you for watching, and remember, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. I'll see you on the next video.